Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I have great pleasure to welcome you all for this session, what we are continuing from yesterday, Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit. So before we start, let us have Mangalacharanam prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminyati Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Once again, I have great pleasure and with gratitude, I welcome all of you for this session of Prabhupada's Leela Amrit. Today, what we are going to do is cover some more pastimes of Srila Prabhupada that happened before London was opened. We know Prabhupada went to London in September 1969. So, and the temple inauguration happened in December 69. So, during that period, Srila Prabhupada was in London. But before that, Srila Prabhupada, we know he had sent three couples when he was in Montreal. He invited them to come there and then he dispatched them to London. And between that time and Srila Prabhupada leaving to London, whatever pastimes happened, I am going to cover them in brief. I had actually skipped them earlier because we were in great eagerness to see what happened in London. So, whatever was missed at that time, I am going back. So, actually, now we are rewinding in time. Please remember what we are seeing now is events that happened before Srila Prabhupada went to London and after Prabhupada sent three couples to London. So this is this period during between the devotees going to London and Srila Prabhupada going to London. In the interim period, some of the pastimes that happened, that's what we are going to be seeing now. So it was in May 1969. This was in Columbus, Ohio. Srila Prabhupada went to Ohio. There he met Ginsburg. Just to be sure, devotees, you hear me well? And please confirm that this pastime has not been discussed already by us.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. And this Ohio pastime we have not heard before. If any of you have
No,
been,
Prabhuji. I
okay.
have
No,
not
no,
heard.
Prabhuji.
Because I'm doing Tamil and the English both, so sometimes I'm a little confused that I have done it in one place but not in the other. So this is Ohio, and Srila Prabhupada has gone there, and there is Ginsburg with him. By now, you are all familiar with Ginsburg. He's one of the leaders of the hippies, very much respected by them, and he also is familiar with India, Vedic culture, Indian gurus. He has visited India before, and he has been attracted by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when Srila Prabhupada came to New York and he sat in Tompkins Square Park chanting, he was one of the earliest people to join Srila Prabhupada. And from that time onwards, he never left Srila Prabhupada. Though he was a very busybody, very wealthy man, very influential person, but still he had great regard for Srila Prabhupada. So now in Ohio, he is meeting Srila Prabhupada, and he had always been a friend of the Krishna conscious movement from the earliest days of ISKCON. So now he came to Srila Prabhupada, and there was a small discussion between him and Prabhupada. Let us see what happens here. Ginsburg is saying what America needs is a single, large, unifying religious movement. He said that. For USA, we need, that means he's not approving ISKCON as a unifying religious movement for the USA because he considers ISKCON as something sectarian, something that has come from the Indian culture. So it is a alien culture for the USA. He thinks the Mahamantra is a alien mantra. It's a Sanskrit mantra. And Krishna is an Indian god. And he thinks the food habits of ISKCON devotees is all Indian. And the way they dress, he thinks this is also Indian. So he considers ISKCON as sectarian. Even though he very much patronizes Srila Prabhupada for his sincerity and his very deep philosophy and the way Srila Prabhupada is able to win debates with people and convince them about the existence of God, all these things. But he doesn't consider ISKCON as that one religious movement that can unify the USA. Now, Prabhupada is responding to him. Prabhupada says, you say that you want a single unifying religious movement for America. Here it is, I am giving you. Here is Krishna. He is all attractive. So what do you need for a unifying force? You need one all attractive force. It's not enough if some people are only attracted. It can attract everyone. So Prabhupada proposes Krishna is all attractive. Now you may ask me, why should I accept Krishna? Then I ask you back, you want a unifying element, so I am giving you Krishna. And you might say, but why I will accept Krishna? I ask you back, why you should not accept Krishna? Why you should not accept Krishna? Whatever you expect from the supreme being, the supreme power, the supreme energy, all that is available in Krishna. So you will not accept Krishna. And Allen Ginsberg says, if you want your movement to become popular, then you have to change the sectarian Hindu aspects of your movement, such as dress, food, and the Sanskrit language. Srila Prabhupada says, our movement is not a sectarian movement. It's not a Hindu movement. Lord Chaitanya says, you can chant any name of God, but chanting is important. Now you see, the broad outlook of Srila Prabhupada comes out, and all of you should imbibe this outlook of Srila Prabhupada. When you meet different kind of people in the world, different kinds of temperaments, you should be able to temper your preaching to their level. Like, one senior devotee was telling, where people are ignorant, then you give them faith. Where people have faith, you give them knowledge in proportion to their faith. People have different degrees of faith, different depths of faith, and you have to give them knowledge in proportion to that. So now you see how amazingly Prabhupada is approaching this topic in a very open-minded way. Prabhupada is not talking in a very pedantic way. He's not pedagogically, he's not saying in a way to impress others that I can accommodate all of you. It is coming from deep, from the heart of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is quoting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the highest authority. Prabhupada is saying, you can chant any name of God, but one must chant. You see the bottom line. This is how Prabhupada always says, the Acharya can adjust to the time, place, and circumstances where he is preaching. Whether he is preaching in modern times or ancient times, whether he is preaching in a very conservative part of the world or in a place where it is fast developing into a modern society, and depending on different cultural backgrounds, depending on different economic scenarios. So Prabhupada is adjusting that. So the essence cannot be compromised, the essence cannot be altered, it cannot be diluted. But subject to that, the details can be adjusted. And now we see what Prabhupada is doing. See, he says, you must chant the name of God. You chant Allah, you chant Jesus, you chant Jehovah. Any name of God is okay with us. But as long as you accept it as the name of the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord has unlimited names. So you can chant any name of God. Just see this. And next thing Prabhupada says, regarding food, any food is acceptable to us. We are not insisting that you should eat only samosa and khichdi and dal and rice. We are not saying that. You can eat any food, but what is the bottom line? Vegetarian food and offered to Krishna. So any food is acceptable provided it's vegetarian food. You can offer it to Krishna and then he can take prasadam. Right? That is next thing. And regarding dress, Prabhupada says, there is no stricture that Americans must shave their head, keep a shika, and wear dhotis. You wear any dress that you want. We are not restricting that. And ultimately, Prabhupada says, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, don't say it is in a alien language, it is from a different language. Right? Prabhupada says it is a natural sound. It's a natural sound. It's not a foreign sound. So this Indian, foreign, domestic, alien, all these concepts have been created by man. We have only divided ourselves into different countries and we say, you don't come into my country or I will invade your country. I want to annex your country to mine. We are creating these differences in the name of land or caste or race, etc. But everything belongs to God. So, in that sense, it's not an alien sound, it is a transcendental, natural sound, Prabhupada is saying. Alan is again objecting Hare Krishna mantra does sound foreign to us. We need a more American mantra. Then Prabhupada, what Prabhupada says? This is going on always. Some people are inclined to one thing and some people are inclined to something else. But ultimately, what is important? You are searching for the center. You are searching for the supreme absolute truth, which is the center. And here is the center, and I am offering it to you. So the discussion ended there. And soon afterwards, in the same Ohio state, Hitchcock Hall, Prabhupada went. There was a program arranged in Hitchcock Hall in Ohio. And 1,000 students were occupying all the seats in that hall. Huge hall, 1,000 capacity hall, fully occupied. Students are sitting. And in addition, on the aisles, on the passageway, and outside the hall, another 1,000 students had assembled. So, in a hall that has a capacity of 1,000, there are 2,000 students waiting to hear Srila Prabhupada. So, what is Allen Ginsberg saying? And all these 2,000 people are not Indian people. Maybe some of them were, but mostly they are foreigners. And what happened? Let us see what happened. Allen Ginsberg started the first Kirtan. Okay, he did Kirtan. Again, he chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Kirtan, followed by a lecture by Srila Prabhupada. And after Prabhupada's lecture, he started the second Kirtan by Prabhupada. First Kirtan, Ginsberg. Second Kirtan, Prabhupada. And as soon as Prabhupada started this final Kirtan of the evening, the students responded wildly. I am reading from the book. Those seated stood up and danced. All the 1,000 seats, the students were sitting, they stood up and started dancing to the Mahamantra and they were jumping in their seats. And those who are on the aisles and the passageway, they also joined in. And there was thunderous kirtan going on with 2,000 people singing as one voice. And then what happened? Prabhupada got up on the stage and started dancing. How Prabhupada danced? He has had 3 heart attacks already. So you will imagine Prabhupada swaying gently back and forth like that. You will imagine, oh, this must be Prabhupada's dance, Swami dance. But see what I am reading. Prabhupada began to dance, jumping up and down on the speaker's dais. Prabhupada was jumping up and down, his hands raised high. He threw flowers from his garland. He was snatching flowers out of his garland, throwing into the crowd, and simultaneously jumping up and down. And the students went wild. They scrambled for collecting these flowers. So the wildly ecstatic kirtan continued for almost an hour. Prabhupada kept up the tempo for 1 hour. And then Prabhupada ended the kirtan. Afterwards, hundreds of students crowded around Prabhupada, asking many questions. And they continued to chant when they left the hall. And many of them were crying as they chanted. See the power of the Mahamantra. In no time, ecstasy was experienced by these new students, they are not devotees. So Prabhupada demonstrated to Allen Ginsberg the power of the Mahamantra. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. So Ginsberg objected, but no, Ginsberg has proof on his hand that it is attracting the local students, the foreigners, the so-called alien civilization, it is attracting. So Prabhupada was very happy about what happened on that day. Next thing is, Srila Prabhupada went to New Vrindavan. New Vrindavan is a project that was envisioned by Srila Prabhupada, that we want a farming community. Farming community. What is the best example of a farming community? Vrajabhumi, Vrindavan. Vrindavan, Krishna is a cowherd boy. Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, Vrishabhanu, Radharani, all the gopis and gopas, it's a pasture ground. They graze their cows, they grow their grains, and they live there on the bank of Yamuna River, in the Vrindavan forest, and on the foothills of Govardhan Hill. So it's all completely pastoral life, completely based on agriculture. So Prabhupada wanted to recreate a community living on that same fashion. So Prabhupada wanted them to acquire land, and they have acquired a large piece of land, several thousand acres. Mountains are there, forests are there, huge grasslands are there, streaks are flowing, small rivers, streams like that. And that is West Virginia. And after some time, Prabhupada is visiting that place for the first time. Prabhupada is visiting. Already devotees are there living, and Prabhupada is visiting this place. And beyond a point, the car could not go. So Prabhupada got down, and Kirtanananda Swami and Hayagriva were with him. They are relatively much younger. Kirtanananda must have been around 31, 32, and Hayagriva maybe around 29, 30. And Srila Prabhupada is 73 years old. Prabhupada is walking fast, covering miles through the thick jungle. They got down from the car, and the way is all muddy and slushy, and streaks are crossing in many places. No, many streams are crossing. Prabhupada is walking across the stream, stepping on the stones in between. He's crossing, and he's walking through grasslands. They cannot keep pace. Prabhupada is walking so fast. Again, how can a man walk so fast? He has had 3 heart attacks and no treatment. No bypass has been done. No angioplasty has been done, nothing. And see Prabhupada at the age of 73. So these are all pastimes we should understand. Haigriva and Kirtanananda are trailing. So Prabhupada goes forward and waits for some time, allowing them to catch up. So Prabhupada is explaining to them what is our goal. We want a community based on Vedic ideals. All the people who live in this community, the devotees, will live simply. They will keep cows and they will work the land and develop it gradually. But the keynote is you don't make it a modern place like the outside world. You don't create a city here. We will defeat the purpose. The keynote is simple living, high thinking. What is high thinking? Worship Krishna. Read the Krishna conscious literature. Do everything for Krishna and chant the holy names and invite outsiders to come and experience the Krishna conscious spiritual lifestyle of the community. So this is what Prabhupada planned. And Prabhupada told them how they can do it. As they were walking, they reached a clearing, and in that place there was one building, very old building, and this is what the devotees were occupying. They told, this is the only building here. In the whole area, this is the only building. And then Prabhupada told them, you can give them some ideas, saying you can build mud houses. Prabhupada doesn't want more than that. He doesn't even talk about bricks. I don't know the details. But Prabhupada said, you build mud houses and live there. And when Prabhupada went into this building, he saw the floor was nicely washed with cow dung. Prabhupada appreciated that. This is the way it should be. It was a small structure, and there was a barn for keeping the cows nearby. Prabhupada said, this is the way I want you people to live. You will be living aloof from the city in a very austere way, and you will have a peaceful life. Because the anxieties in the city come from sense gratification. But here, no sense gratification. You are all serving Krishna and chanting. So you'll be free from anxiety. Your life will be peaceful. And those who come will get impressed and they will carry these images when they go back home. So Srila Prabhupada was walking in West Virginia, this new Vrindavan land, as though it was his own home. And the devotees were amazed. How? He's a Vrajvasi, that's all. Srila Prabhupada has come from Goloka Vrindavan. So it is no wonder that Prabhupada is at home. So Prabhupada saw the places, and then Prabhupada served food. What kind of food? The wheat that was grown in the same farm, it was ground into powder and it was cooked in milk, and that was the food. And it was cooked on firewood. So Prabhupada made a comment. Best fuel is cow dung, first fuel for cooking. First it is cow dung. Secondly, wood fire. Thirdly, gas. Fourthly, electricity. Electricity is the worst fuel of all, according to Prabhupada. And so Prabhupada did not want them to bring electricity there. Prabhupada recommended cow dung as top priority, followed by wood, which is freely available in the forest. Then Prabhupada enters the house and he settles down there. Settle down means what? Morning walks and home program, morning program, then translation, meeting visitors, like that. Same routine, Prabhupada, wherever he goes, he maintains that routine. And Prabhupada was insisting, we have to give a practical demonstration. When people come and see, they should take our example and they should want to follow it. So don't bring modern concepts into this place. Keep it very traditional, very Vedic, very ideal. Live a simple, austere, Krishna conscious life. Simple living, high thinking. So Prabhupada was insisting that. We don't need any factories here. It is the factories that are creating anxieties, ugra karma. We will never do that in West Virginia. Prabhupada said that. So there is not even a telephone. If devotees want to collect the mail, they have to walk 2 miles. So Prabhupada said, a devotee accepts whatever nature provides. See, this is the principle of Krishna consciousness. Whatever nature provides, a devotee accepts. He doesn't make unnecessary endeavor to accumulate unnecessary necessities. Whatever nature offers freely, a devotee accepts with gratitude and spends his precious time and energy in cultivating spiritual life. So this is a devotee, right? Accept what nature gives you freely and use your time and energy in cultivating spiritual life. At that time, there was only one cow called Kalia because it was black and white color. They called her Kalia. It was a crossbred cow. The cow became very much attached to Prabhupada. Seeing Prabhupada at a distance, it came running. And Prabhupada also was very affectionate to that cow. Prabhupada visited West Virginia more than once, and the cow became very much friendly to Srila Prabhupada. They had such a wonderful relationship. That cow was giving plenty of milk, unheard of in history. Prabhupada said, just wait. Our New Vrindavan cows are not ordinary cows because they know that we are not going to kill them. We will keep them till they die. We will keep them with love and affection and maintain them properly. So, as the generations pass, the cows will give so much plenty of milk that people cannot believe it. As it is, Kalia was giving a lot of high quality milk, and Prabhupada appreciated that. Then Prabhupada wanted the devotees to build 7 temples in New Vrindavan, just like Vrindavan. Let us see, can you name these temples? Which are the temples that Prabhupada has in mind? Vrindavan has got 5,000 temples, our Vrindavan. Prabhupada named 7 temples. Which are the 7? Please try. Which are the 7 temples? Shall I start? Radha Madan Mohan. Then?
Radha Gopinath Prabhuji.
Govinda, Gopinath, Radha.
Radha Rasvidari.
Radha.
No.
Radha.
Vrindavan, we are talking Vrindavan. So Radha Damodar, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Ramana, right? And Radha Shyamasundar. These are the famous Goswami temples of Vrindavan. So Prabhupada wants New Vrindavan to be a replica of our Vrindavan in the Vraj, right? So these 7 temples, he said, you should build, and you should build a lot of small mud houses where people can live. And Prabhupada said very clearly, look, you should not depend on outside world for anything. If you do that, it defeats our purpose. Oh, I need this particular thing. It will not be available here. I will go outside and purchase. No. What is available in New Vrindavan is what you should use. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose. Why you have such a huge piece of land and then you go to the city and purchase something? So, Prabhupada, see, we should take these messages very seriously in our heart. How a devotee is satisfied with what is readily available. And he is not eager to accumulate unnecessary necessities, thinking, I need this, I want this. And then, whatever time you are able to spare, use it in your spiritual life, because our time is precious. Our time means in the human form of life, the time is so very precious. The time around us is unlimited. Sun rises, sets, it goes on for millions of years. But that is not the concern. Our concern is my human form. How long it will last? I am getting old. How much longer I have to live? Within this time, I should cultivate such Krishna consciousness that when I die, I will remember nothing other than Krishna. How can I do that? By saturating my life with Krishna. That is how I will do it. There should be no interference from any material consciousness. I should be completely saturated with Krishna. And for that only our time is given. So Prabhupada says, a devotee accepts whatever nature provides and spends the time and energy in spiritual life. This is what a devotee is. So devotee is naturally simple. That's what the point is. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to stay longer, but not possible. Prabhupada has so many duties. He has left the Vrindavan in India and he has now come to a new Vrindavan in America. But there also he cannot stay. He has to go back because there are so many more things for him to accomplish. So Prabhupada was very encouraged to see the way of life in New Vrindavan. He had exchanges with Kirtanananda. Now you remember Kirtanananda. He has been there with us from New York days, right? In 26 2nd Avenue, he was one of the earliest people to visit Srila Prabhupada. And immediately he moved into Prabhupada's house also. And he became the housekeeper, he became the cook, and he became so many things for Srila Prabhupada. And now he has taken over New Vrindavan just to please his Guru Maharaj, to live a simple life here, demonstrate it to others, and encourage more people to take it up. So he is there. And between Kirtanananda and Srila Prabhupada, there is such an intimate relationship. They don't even have to speak much. One word and it is understood, or one gesture of the hand or of the eyebrow that is understood. So that is how they are having some exchanges here. Prabhupada is directing how New Vrindavan should develop. Then Kirtananda Swami understood how important this is for his spiritual master. Even though Prabhupada is preaching in all the major cities, his focus is the village. Let us remember this. Even though ISKCON is found primarily in major cities of the world, but it is not, ISKCON is not an urban movement. Let us understand, let us remember. We are a completely rural movement. We are Vrajavasis. We are the family members of Krishna, Nanda and Yashoda. We belong to the family of Krishna. And who is Krishna? He's a cowherd boy. And how can you be a relative of Krishna and be living in the cities? That's not possible. So if you want to be part of Krishna's family, you should develop this rural bent of mind. You should pick up this community farming as your occupation. So this is what Prabhupada is indicating. By demonstrating here in New Vrindavan, we will encourage people all over the world to set up such community farms. You can go to the internet and see how it is working in Romania. There is one disciple of Srila Prabhupada by name Sivaram Swami. He is running a very successful farm. Apart from West Virginia, in Romania, there is one farm. And I think at least there are some 15, 20 successful farms running all over the world. But this is not enough. Obviously, it has to grow much, much more. And in good time, all this will happen. But what is more important right now is more and more demonstrative farms must happen, and it should encourage people to take it out on their own initiative to set up more and more such farms outside. So Srila Prabhupada eventually left, the car came, his luggage was carried in a bullock cart, and Prabhupada walked ahead. Eventually, the car came to pick him up and take him to the airport. Prabhupada left West Virginia. But after giving us a lot of important messages that we should absorb in our heart. Maybe it is not for me to live in a community farm in this lifetime, but let me aspire that I would like to go back to Krishna and live in a community farm in Goloka Vrindavan. Let us aspire for that. And next is Los Angeles. This is also prior to Prabhupada going to London. This is June 69. And in Los Angeles, Srila Prabhupada went to inaugurate a new temple. We remember already Los Angeles, devotees were very successful. They were in the Hollywood Boulevard. They had a house. They had a temple. But somehow they were daily going out on Nagar Sankirtan, distributing thousands of copies of Back to Godhead magazine, and hundreds of devotees were coming. But unfortunately, the landlord evicted them. And from that time, they were looking for another place. Now they have their own place, a new temple, and they were installing Radha Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada was doing the installation. And Prabhupada wanted to make this Los Angeles temple a role model. If you all remember, Dayananda Prabhu and Nandarani Mataji, these two people had originally taken the initiative for Los Angeles, and it had become very successful. One single couple are behind this. So this is what Prabhupada always says, one person is enough to start one center. This is the strength of ISKCON, because each devotee is so much surrendered to Krishna, to Srila Prabhupada, and they all want to please him. They are willing to do anything. They will give up their life if it will please the spiritual master. So in that mood, one person is enough. Prabhupada would always say, one moon, millions of stars. Prabhupada will say, millions of rascal stars. They are useless. One moon gives enough light for the planet. Millions of stars, what is the use? So Prabhupada would always say, if I can make one pure devotee, I'll be very happy. But then Prabhupada said also, but I have got so many devotees by the grace of Krishna. I have got so many pure devotees after coming to America. But if I made one pure devotee, I would have been happy. Prabhupada would say like that. So here in Los Angeles, Prabhupada made some very important observations, and the devotees took it very seriously to their heart. Let us see what it is. Okay, some of the comments that Prabhupada is making here. While installing the deities, Prabhupada is emphasizing the mood of deity worship. See, the Westerners are all Christian, correct? Christian or Jewish. In any case, they are against idol worship, correct? They don't want idols to be worshipped. It is one of the serious blasphemies in the Christian religion to worship a material form as God. Anything made of a material element cannot be worshipped as God. And they would rather destroy it to win the favor of God rather than worship one. So to those people, Prabhupada is introducing deity worship. Deities made of marble or stone or metal or wood, Prabhupada is introducing. So Prabhupada is telling them the importance of having the right mood in deity worship. You should remember that the Supreme Lord, out of his infinite compassion, is appearing through a material element in a form that you can see and experience with your limited material senses. Right? The unlimited, supremely transcendental, non-material God, out of his infinite compassion, is agreeing to appear in front of you in a form made of material elements with which you can relate using your material senses. You can express your love to that deity. You can serve the deity. You can bathe the deity. You can dress up the deity with nice dresses and ornaments. You can feed the deity. You can rest the deity. You can massage the deity. You can celebrate nice festivals for the deity in infinite number of ways. 365 days, 24/7, you can serve these deities. And by remembering that I am serving the Supreme Lord in this form, And the Supreme Lord, out of his infinite kindness and compassion, is accepting my service, which is insignificant. He doesn't need my service. I need his service. I need to serve him. Not that he needs my service in any way. Prabhupada would always quote Lakshmi Sahasra Sahasambram Asevya Manam, right? Chinta Mani Prakarasad Masukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhi Rapipala Yantam Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambram Asevya Manam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He is served by millions of Lakshmis. We are waiting to catch the one sidelong glance of one Lakshmi. But in Goloka, he is served by unlimited Lakshmis, and they are waiting to catch one little glance of Krishna. So he doesn't need us. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. So he doesn't need our service. But why he comes? Out of his love for us. Out of his love for us, he wants to help us to revive our lost relationship with him. And how can he do that? We are all thinking, I am a material body, but he is completely non-material. How to establish a relationship? When I look at my body in the mirror, I think it is me, which I am not. I am relating with this body 100%. How can I accept a God who is not having a form which I can see and touch and experience? So this is the secret of deity worship, which we should understand. So Prabhupada is telling, if you don't have the right mood in serving the deity, that will become idol worship, which is what Christianity is against. So there is a thin line between deity worship and idol worship. When you understand that supreme transcendental entity has agreed to come in front of me in this material form, that is when you become qualified, and you should be filled with gratitude as you serve the deity. Because the deity, see, the deity is not going to reciprocate in a way that you directly understand. When you feed the deity is not going to eat it, and the deity is not going to say, the food was good, or maybe not enough salt, or maybe too hot. No. So the deity is going to simply stand there and smile at you, whether you serve them nicely or you don't. So it's all the more important that you have the right mood, that Krishna is receiving my service through this form. That is what Prabhupada is emphasizing. So Prabhupada says, there should be life in your service to the Lord. Prabhupada is saying, I am offering you Radha and Krishna, and you serve them with faith. And if you neglect them, if you somehow lose your enthusiasm, then the worship will become like idol worship. If you lack enthusiasm. Prabhupada in one lecture in India, he said, this Vigraha will become Galagraha. Graha means stone. Vigraha is deity. And if the pujari doesn't have the right kind of spirit, he will say it is my Galagraha. Gala means stone, neck, and graha means stone. So it's a stone around my neck. It's a burden on me. If you don't have the mood of Vigraha, it will be a Galagraha on you. Prabhupada warned like that. So here also Prabhupada is saying, where there is life and feeling, and you think, where is Krishna? Here is Krishna. Oh, I have to serve him. I have to dress him. I have to serve Radharani. She is here. Oh, I just have to do it very nicely. And as far as possible, decorate her to the best capacity. If you think like this, then you are Krishna conscious. But if you think that it is a brass-made doll or idol, then Krishna will reciprocate with you accordingly. So Krishna is reciprocating all that time. When you see it as a metal, he will reciprocate accordingly. When the Mughals came and broke the deities, and they thought, see, your deities have no power, we have broken them, they were actually reciprocating. The deities were actually reciprocating with them. They see them as stones, and they reciprocate as stones. And if we also see them in the same way, we are non-different from Mughals. So the mood of a devotee is different. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. If you think that this is a brass-made idol, then it will remain brass-made idol to you forever. But if you elevate yourself to a higher platform of Krishna consciousness, then Krishna, this very Krishna, Prabhupada is pointing out the deity, this very Krishna will talk with you. This Krishna will talk with you. So Prabhupada is emphatically making this point. So, and Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj says, now Prabhupada, wherever he goes to a new center, he is giving a new emphasis and making the devotees become more committed. He's giving them more responsibilities. And like that, he's deepening the consciousness of his movement. Prabhupada is not simply expanding his movement. See, that would be a very superficial material activity to establish 200 temples around the globe and create some so-so wishy-washy devotees and say, I have a global movement and there are hundreds of devotees doing worship. That is not Prabhupada wants. Actually, Prabhupada did not want temples. Many times Prabhupada made this comment. I can sit under any tree and preach. I don't need an opulent temple. After all the Goswamis of Vrindavan, they were sleeping under trees. So where is the need for an opulent temple? But the opulent temple is for you. You will not come unless there is something opulent that is attractive to you. So I have to set up opulent temples of marble and excellent rosewood, that fine teak wood, and I have to make nice deities, and I have to maintain the place beautifully, and I should have nice prasadam to attract you. And then I want to give you Krishna. See the mood of a devotee. So like we say in a desert, if you're trapped in a desert and you see a tree at a great distance, then you run towards the tree that I will receive some shade. This is normal situation where there is so much sun, hot sun hitting your head and your feet, and you are running to the shade of a tree. But ISKCON is not such a tree. ISKCON is a tree which runs behind you. You are suffering in the sun, and the tree comes running and wants to stand above you so that you will receive the shade. It's an extraordinary movement for the age of Kali. The people in Kali are Manda, Sumanda Madayo, Manda Bhagya, Upadradha, always confused, always troubled, always engaged in quarrel, and they have dull heads. They are misdirected. The age is like that. And Alpaisha, Prayena Alpaisha Sabhya Kalavasya Yugejana. In Kali Yuga, people are Alpa Ayush. They live only 100 years max. So ISKCON is tailored for such a situation. Krishna is all powerful. So he has tailored a movement for Kali Yuga, especially for us. We cannot escape. The movement will chase you wherever you go and try to give you shade, try to make you comfortable, try to invite you back home, back to Krishna, from where there is no return to this troublesome material world. Go back home and stay there happily with Krishna. It's an invitation to all of us. So Prabhupada would go to each center and he was deepening the commitment of the devotees. Prabhupada would say, these are all my responsibilities of each temple. All the temples are my responsibility, but I am giving it to you. That means you are my assistant. You are helping me. In the process, you are pleasing me. And the goal of a devotee is to please the spiritual master. If spiritual master is pleased, Krishna is pleased. So I am creating all these temples and I am distributing my responsibility to all of you. If you do it nicely, I am pleased and your life is successful. If you don't do it properly, I suffer the most. Prabhupada would say like that. And when Prabhupada saw, this is an important point, please take it. When Prabhupada saw a disciple eager, mark the word, when Prabhupada saw a disciple eager to take on more of the anxiety of preaching Krishna consciousness. If Prabhupada saw, there are so many devotees, they are all coming to Prabhupada at the same time, but among them, if Prabhupada sees some devotee willing to do more than the rest, willing to take more responsibility, more anxiety, then Prabhupada would give him greater responsibility. Anxiety for serving Krishna, mark these words, if you can write it down. Anxiety for serving Krishna, Prabhupada said, is the greatest satisfaction. For a devotee, anxiety is satisfaction. In the material world, all of us are trying to become free of anxiety, but we are failing miserably. We are trying to become free from anxiety. All our life is a struggle to become free from anxiety. But there is always another anxiety waiting. You think I'm out of one, Then there is the another one just waiting behind. This is the experience in material world. But Prabhupada says, in the spiritual consciousness, the greatest satisfaction is anxiety to serve Krishna. The devotee wants to take anxieties in serving Krishna. And Prabhupada quotes Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our very important parampara acharyas, and he's called the seventh Goswami. He says, the trouble, please, if you want, you can write it down. The trouble I encounter in your devotional service, I will consider as my greatest happiness. The trouble I encounter in your devotional service, I will consider it as the greatest happiness. So this is what a devotee is. Devotee is not trying to become comfortable. Actually, about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it was said that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati of Gaudiya Math, whenever a large donation came, which would be sufficient for the mutt to run comfortably. The mutt is always running around for collections, is it not? They have to maintain the mutt and they have to also do preaching. But then somebody comes and offers, a wealthy man gives a huge donation. The devotees are thinking, now our problems are solved. Every day we were running here and there to raise some donation for our cooking, for our maintenance of the building, and for the various other needs. But now a large donation has come. But what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati will do? He will start another big project. He will start a big project, and all this money will go into the big project. And there will be no money in the kitty. He always wanted his disciples to be in a state of anxiety. He would say, we should be always in anxiety. Otherwise, this mutt will become like a chowl tree. You eat and you sleep. There is nothing else. So that is the correct mood that a devotee should have. And we see it here in Srila Prabhupada also, that the anxiety is what sets a devotee apart. So Prabhupada says, satisfaction of the previous spiritual masters is the greatest satisfaction for a devotee. If you, to the degree the devotee carries out the order, that will satisfy the spiritual master, and the devotee will himself feel satisfaction. So, and Prabhupada gives a nice example. This is found in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I am reading it as it is. The reciprocation of love between Krishna and the gopis. Now we know gopis are the greatest example of devotees. Pure devotee, the highest is the gopis of Vrindavan. And then Supreme Lord Krishna. How they exchange love between them, if we understand, then we will realize this is what I should aim for. Now I will read it for you. When the gopis pleased Krishna in the rasa dance, Krishna smiled. Right? Krishna is pleased and Krishna smiles. And when the gopis saw Krishna's smile, indicating his satisfaction, their happiness and correspondingly their beauty increased 1,000,000 times. When Krishna saw the newly increased beauty of the gopis, he became more pleased. And thus the happiness and the beauty of the gopis increased ever more. This loving competition increased on and on unlimitedly. And Prabhupada says, this is the competition between the spiritual master and the disciple. The disciple, and between spiritual master and disciple, there is a sense of loving competition. Each wanting to serve the other, neither seeking service for himself. The devotee doesn't want the guru to serve him, nor the guru wants devotee to serve him. But there is an ongoing competition. So like that, Prabhupada was constantly increasing the responsibilities of all these people and giving them opportunities to find satisfaction in increasing the anxiety level within. So the next thing is, Srila Prabhupada was the most enlivened person in ISKCON at any point of time. Wherever, supposing a new project is started, a new temple is started, a new devotee comes to the temple, or a new festival is being organized, Prabhupada is the most enlivened man. Live by example, we say, no? Others will be inspired by the example you set. So in ISKCON, The most inspired person at all times is the leader, Prabhupada. And naturally, everybody wants to emulate. This is the success of a mission. This is the success of a movement. That the leader is always the most inspired of the entire membership of that association, of that movement. And this is what Prabhupada is so much enlivened, and he is inspiring his devotees, even though his devotees are in their 20s or even less. And Prabhupada is in the 70s, 73, 73, 74. But even then, he's full of energy, full of enthusiasm and motivation and inspiration. And this is the guiding force of ISKCON. And he was their leader. Usually the leaders are not available, correct? Not accessible. But here is Prabhupada. He is the global leader of ISKCON movement, a rapidly growing movement with hundreds of thousands of literature being distributed, temples being opened, more and more devotees joining. But even in that situation, he was available to everyone. No one felt that he is not available to me. No, everyone, anyone can write a letter to Prabhupada and receive a reply within days. Even today, some of the cherished possessions of many of his devotees are his letters. And many times when we make offerings to Srila Prabhupada on his appearance day or Vyas Puja day, people read out from those letters. And many of these letters have now been compiled into books also. So Prabhupada was always available to his followers. So, okay, we will touch upon a few more points and then we'll close. Now, Prabhupada went to San Francisco. This is July 1969. San Francisco, we already know there has been a Rath Yatra in the year 1966, right? No, 67. And this is 68, 69, the third Rath Yatra. And Rath Yatra is growing better and better year after year. And this Rath Yatra, Srila Prabhupada is participating in person. In the first Rath Yatra, Prabhupada was sick and recuperating. And the Rath Yatra happened in his absence, the very first Rath Yatra. But now, Rath Yatra, Prabhupada is present. As Prabhupada landed in San Francisco, again, the reporters are asking about moon landing. Prabhupada immediately, what do you say? What do you think about moon landing? That's what they ask. Prabhupada immediately replies, do you want me to flatter you or you want to hear the real thing? Then the reporter said, no, we want to hear the real thing. Prabhupada said, it is a colossal waste of money. It's a colossal waste of money. You went, you took your rocket and you landed somewhere and all that you found were rocks and sand and uninhabitable place. And you have to come back. In any case, you have to come back to this world. What is the use? That money could have been spent on distributing Krishna consciousness to the whole population. The whole population could have become happy. So Prabhupada gave this message when the reporters asked him. Then Prabhupada went to the Rath Yatra. The Rath was a tall Rath, huge canopy, and the three deities were standing in front with their bright big eyes, smiling at the crowd. They had been so gorgeously decorated with beautiful flower garlands, and the whole Rath was festooned with beautiful, beautiful displays and all that. And on the Rath Yatra bench, the devotees were sitting with their kirtan instruments, with harmonium, kartals, drums, and all these things. And there was a very good sound system arranged. And there was the Vyasasan on the stage, on the Rath, on which Srila Prabhupada would sit. So Prabhupada went in front of the cart and Prabhupada offered Dandavat pranams to the deities. And immediately all the devotees, they offered their Dandavat pranams. And there was 1,000 crowd in front of that cart at that time in San Francisco. In India, we don't see that kind of crowds. In a city like San Francisco, 1,000 crowd was there in front of the cart. Prabhupada was very happy. He appreciated the devotees and he mounted on the cart and he sat on the Vyasasan and the Rath Yatra started. After some time, Prabhupada looked behind the cart and he asked, now, how many people are there, Tamal Krishna, you tell me? And Tamal Krishna went behind and saw, and he said, 5,000 people are following. Not all are devotees. Rath Yatra doesn't mean all devotees will come, but it attracts people, and that's the success of Rath Yatra. This is called Sukriti. Anyone who follows the Rath, anyone who holds the rope, anyone who pulls the rope, anyone who takes darshan of Ratam me Vamanam Drishta Punarjanma Nevidyate, you see the deity sitting on the Rath, you don't get rebirth. So much Sukriti is there. People are distributing prasadam from the car. You take that prasadam, you get Sukriti. Like that, Rath Yatra, the whole business of Rath Yatra is the main deity from the temple comes out. Because people don't come to the temple. Deity comes out of the temple, wants to give darshan to everyone. So like this time, there was such a beautiful Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, it is happening all over the world. So there was a 5,000 crowd. And the Rath was moving along nicely. And there was a nice kirtan all along the way. The devotees were singing from the car. It was amplified in the loudspeakers. And people were happily following. So much prasadam is being distributed. Fruits are there, chapatis are there, sweets are being distributed, so much. And nicely Rath is going. And the huge canopy sometimes creates a problem because sometimes you are going under a bridge and the canopy is butting above that. So one of the devotees had devised a mechanical device by which it can go down. The canopy can be lowered and again mounted up. So he had created a cranking device by which it can do that. And Prabhupada was a little suspicious. He said, is there any alternative? Supposing this device doesn't work, what he will do? They said, no, Prabhupada, it will work. So now as the Rath was going, they reached the underbridge. So they had to lower the canopy. So the Rath stopped and the crowd was singing Hare Krishna. Everybody was singing. There was a huge sound because it is going under bridge, no? There was a huge amplification and it was like a thunder. And the Rath had to stop and the cranking device failed. So Rath had to stop there for some time. And Prabhupada got up in the Rath and he started dancing. Dancing means jumping up and down vigorously, enthusiastically, crushing the flowers below. Prabhupada is just rising high and coming down. People were seeing Prabhupada and they were going mad. The whole crowd started jumping and shouting the Mahamantra very loudly. And Prabhupada kept on dancing like that. And eventually Prabhupada sat down, but the Rath was not yet moving. And there was a huge uproar. Prabhupada asked Tamal Krishna, why this uproar? What do they want? Tamal Krishna said, I think they want to see you dance again. Oh, is it so? Prabhupada again got. And keeping the bead bag in his hand tightly, Prabhupada again jumped up and down. Another 15 minutes. And then the Rath moved and the Rath Yatra concluded. So Srila Prabhupada's dancing mesmerized everyone. A pure devotee, whatever he does, it attracts the hearts of everyone. And then after the Rath Yatra, Prabhupada gave a nice lecture. And in the lecture, Prabhupada emphasized chanting. Please, devotees, take it to heart. If you can somehow make people chant, whether they understand the philosophy or anything, if they are innocent, simple-hearted people who can be taught, then please give them the Mahamantra. Don't bother about anything else. Just make them chant Mahamantra. They will get the same benefit as others who chant after acquiring a lot of philosophy. Simple-minded people, if you can just tell them that the Lord is present in the Mahamantra, just by chanting the Mahamantra, he can please the Supreme Lord and he can go back home. And if he can make people chant. So Prabhupada said that in America. He said, if you are having difficulty with the philosophy, never mind. Even as Prabhupada is talking, many of the people are leaving. Lecture, leave. Kirtan, they are all there. Prasadam, they are all there. Lecture, gone. So Prabhupada, see, even now I am speaking and people are leaving. So you are not able to understand the philosophy or you are not very much interested in the philosophy. No problem. See, this is infinite compassion being articulated into words. You can't stand philosophy. No problem. I don't want you to do that. I don't ask you to read the books and try to understand somehow. Simply chant the holy names of Allah and that will do the work. Philosophy not understood? No problem. So this is the mercy of an Acharya, especially for the age of Kali, in which we are all stranded and suffering. So the next topic is a threat against ISKCON. from Los Angeles, Prabhupada goes to Boston. Boston, this is December. Now, the period prior to London temple is over. We have finished with San Francisco. Now we are coming to Boston. This is after London temple inauguration. After London temple inauguration, Prabhupada is going to Boston. And the end of 14th was the temple inauguration in London, and 21st Prabhupada is in Boston. Again, there is a huge reception. Boston also new temple, big temple inauguration. Prabhupada is there. Right at the airport, there is a thunderous reception. So much emotional, all the devotees. Unrestrained welcome in the airport. Usually in the airport, you have to hold your tongue. You should not make too much noise, because there is so much etiquette to be followed. But the devotees forget all that. They are simply jumping and shouting the Mahamantra. They are blowing the conchas. They are ringing the bells. They are beating the drums like that it's going on. And the police had to step in and say, please, cool it, cool it, cool it. They've caught Brahmananda. Brahmananda is the temple president of New York. He's there now in Boston. And he's crying in ecstasy. I am going to see my spiritual master after a long time. He's crying. And as the aeroplane landed, when Prabhupada is coming out, they are not able to see him because there is a partition. Between the visitor's side and the passenger side, there's a huge partition. They cannot see. So Brahmananda is a huge man. He's trying to jump up and see whether Prabhupada is there on the other side. And eventually, Prabhupada is a small man. He lifted his hand above the partition. The bead bag was there in his hand. And with that, he gave darshan to the devotees this side. And again, they all became ecstatic and they started shouting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Eventually, Prabhupada cleared immigration. He came out. Kirtanananda Swami, he had also come from New Vrindavan to Boston with a busload of devotees. He ran without any shame to catch up with Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada made a comment. I am an old man, but I am sure, even if I die, my students will continue the Krishna conscious movement by seeing the enthusiasm of all of you and how sincerely you are practicing what I have taught you. I know this movement will continue. And then Prabhupada said, it has the potency to awaken awareness of God within everyone's heart. So Krishna is God. God is the name of, let's say, a position, and Krishna is the name of the person. God only from material perspective. From a spiritual perspective, in Goloka, he's not even God. No one in Goloka recognizes him as God, right? It's not one of the relationships, right? Does anyone object to this? In Goloka Vrindavan, is there a relationship called God and deity in Goloka Vrindavan between Krishna and the people who live there?
No, Prabhuji.
Doesn't
We
it?
don't consider Krishna as God.
So the God is there only for material world. Only for the material world. And especially in Goloka Vrindavan. I don't know about Vaikuntha. Maybe Vaikuntha is God only. I don't know. There are the Parshadas, Nitya Parshadas are there. They are always glorifying the Lord. The Lord is seated in his Simhasan. Mahalakshmi is massaging his lotus feet. And then from time to time, she's offering a pawn into the mouth of Mahavishnu. And he is chewing it nicely. That is going on in Vaikuntha. And all the Parshadas, they are standing and appreciating the beauty of the Lord, waiting to catch his glance and singing some beautiful Uttama shlokas in glorification. That is going on in Vaikuntha. I don't know about that, whether they see him as God or their master, I don't know. But in Goloka, the smallest relationship is Dasya, directly serving the Lord, Dasya. Then you have Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. So these are the relationships. He's not God anymore. Once you go back to Goloka Vrindavan, he's your equal. And sometimes he's inferior to you also. He needs your protection. And Krishna is happy to be protected. In Tamil Nadu also, there is one nice Alvar called Periya Alvar. He won a big competition in I think, the Pandya king. And the Pandya king gave him a nice reward and he put him on an elephant and he made a procession around the palace or the major city streets. And the Lord appeared to see his devotee being honored. His name is Periya Alvar. He's the Periya, big Alvar. And the Lord appeared on his Garuda along with Rukmini Satyabhama, and the Lord appeared. And immediately what Periyalvar did, he was worried that so many people are seeing him now, that drishti should not fall on him and nothing bad should happen to him. So he's singing a nice song, Pallandu Pallandu Pallayiratta and Palakodi Noorayam. Oh Lord, you live for millions and millions of years. May nothing untoward befall you. May you live a healthy life along with all your associates. He is spontaneously singing a song, blessing the Lord. He is blessing the Lord. So when he is blessing the Lord becomes smaller, no? So he becomes Periyalvar, big Alvar. So this is the mood of the devotees. And this title I will justify in the coming sessions, a threat against ISKCON. In this situation, what kind of a threat can happen, that we will see in the next session. Thank you very much for your patience. I will bring the session to a close. If you want to say anything, comment anything, ask any questions, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
About the anxiety, what you said, we see even now in several ISKCON temples how the devotees are taking lot of anxieties. As for a person like me, I can only desire to get that mood, Prabhuji. We can see many people working till night and then coming to temple and doing services. Really inspiring, Prabhuji, how they have taken up Prabhupada's instructions, how they are serving. It's really inspiring, Prabhuji.
Very true. I think all that we need to do is pick up the inspiration from them. We all need to be inspired. So this is by observing senior devotees and devotees who are so absorbed in serving, we develop our inspiration from that. That is how we inspire it. That's why it's always we insist on congregation. We should always be in the association of devotees, and otherwise our inspiration will slowly wane. It will begin to dwindle. We should always try to somehow keep ourselves in the midst of enthusiastic devotees, and especially people who are like-minded. Sajatiya, they say. Sajatiya Vaishnava means people who share common interest with you, because Krishna can be served in so many different ways, and different devotees are serving the Lord in different moods. So if you have a particular mood of serving the Lord, then you will have to find people who have the same mood of service, who are also enthusiastic. And in their mood, your devotion will grow by leaps and bounds. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vranda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gurudev ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna. Jai
Hare
Srila
Krishna,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Dandavat
Hare Krishna.
pranams.